foreign policy positions of the ANC in the past in all areas, let's say in order to empower themselves to be able to say where should the movement be today and tomorrow with regard to these international relations matters. So I think it's a very, very good initiative. And the discussion so far has been very, very good. I mean, as you know, I mean, that's not specifically an ANC matter, essentially because there are established positions of the African Union on those issues. How many members, permanent members, what to do about the veto issue and all of that. And ANC government, ever since the matters came on the agenda, has taken what are the AU positions on this issue. So, I mean, it would be the same now with regard to government policy, would be to the Zuluini consensus and all of that. Those were the positions that would be taken. So it's not it's not to review positions like that. It really, as I was saying, is to say there are many changes that are happening in the world. You've got, for instance, the formation of BRICS. You have the issue that President Ramaphosa next year is going to be hosting the G20 summit. These are important issues, and so the ANC needs to understand what does it do. You've got the conflict in the Middle East, you've got the conflict in Ukraine, a lot of discussion about multilateralism away from unilateralism. Where does the ANC position itself with regard to all of those? So I'm saying there are established positions like on the matter on this of the reform of the Security Council, of the AU positions, and in the ANC government, the South African government has adopted those positions also. But there's these other issues, which I think the way the discussion has gone this morning, up to today, up to now, I think suggests to me that you've got a group of people who are very, very seriously interested to make sure that the ANC is up to date in terms of this evolving global situation, and that it takes positions which are consistent with the historic, political, and ideological. Well, I don't know if the political landscape is changing rapidly, but certainly you've had elections in Mozambique, you've now had the elections in Botswana. I personally haven't had time to look at both in detail. I'm glad that President Masisi in Botswana quite readily decided when he saw the election results to say the correct thing to do is to call the winning party and to say congratulate on them, and I, as president of Botswana, will not stand in any way in the way of a transition. It's a very, very good response. And I do hope that even the debates, the controversies that have arisen in Mozambique will be sorted out. Given the particular history of Mozambique and the conflict between Frelimo and Renamo and all of that, I'm sure that we would be very interested here that those conflicts matters of dispute are resolved peacefully in Mozambique, but they must be resolved. But I think what the example of Mozambique is, of Botswana is saying to all of us is that it's a good example for the region. We all say we're Democrats. We must support the democratic processes and not create any obstacles to the democracy in our countries, and not create obstacles if the people decide in particular ways against us. Like the positions that the ANC took here. The ANC did not query the fact that it got 40% of the votes and said, well, we've got to respond to that reality. I think what Botswana has just done is the same thing. And I'm saying that I'm hoping that consistent with that regional position in support of democracy, of democratic processes, that whatever conflicts there have been in Mozambique as a result of those elections will also be resolved peacefully. But it's a confirmation, I think, of the continued commitment of the region to its own positions of support for democratic processes, and therefore the possibility to resolve all disputes